ओम नमः शिवाय। वयं गतकक्ष्यायां किमर्थं किमपि न वेदनीयम् इति अपश्याम. We have seen how we need not really complain anything or report anything back to God because He is already in us as the Antaryami. So then it leads us to complete surrender, that is the silencing of the mind, which is basically what is called as surrender. It is not just falling at the feet of some big boss. It is not so. Here, surrender means that we have given up completely any effort or will to control the situation around us, and we are ready to accept uh, his or her will to be the supreme. We are allowing his or her or its will to rule over us. So that is called as surrender. That is the ultimate point of surrender, where all free will has been lovingly, voluntarily relinquished back to the Paramatma. And now he will. So when this shloka says Kim Veditavyam, it is not just saying don't pray, it's saying what is there to pray because you already know of all things, the right, wrong, the good, bad, and ugly that I have done. And whatever, since you're also the Dayakara and a Sarvajna, you know everything, you are Sarvashakta also. And uh, it is not that you are an evil god. You are not there to hunt me down and kill me or destroy me. So you are a Dayakara. Therefore, I know that with this great combination of having all strength and all benevolence, you will definitely take good care of me. So I need not worry about my own personal interests. And we shall now look at what happens to a bhakta who is at such a state of bhakti. The beautiful metaphor here, atra upama, is compared to that of a punyaha vachana kalasham. So you would have seen a kalasha. A kalasha which is used to do punyaha in people's homes. This punyaha is where there is a coconut kept with a tilaka written, and there are mango leaves. There are mango leaves, five mango leaves usually, which are surrounding it. And then there is a thread, a white thread. So the color of the kalasha, let's put it as orange. Let's put it as orange. So the kalasha is orange, brass in color. And now there is a white thread wound around it. There is a white thread wound around it, inside which they have filled water to the brim. They have filled water. It's a water holding kalasha, a pitcher of water, holy water. And when is this done? This punyaha is done vivaha kaleshu, griha pravesheshu, ahosvit, कदाचित् ब्रह्म उपदेश समये अपि यद्वा शुभ समारंभः स्यात् तस्य पूर्वांगत्वेन, as an ancillary preparatory step, पूर्वांगत्वेन एतत् पुण्याः वाचनं क्रियते. What is the point of this? So in this पुण्याः वाचनं वरुण देवता वास्तु देवताः च आहूयन्ते. Varuna and Vastu, they are invoked into the picture. And so Varuna, Jala Adhipatihi, Vastu or Vastoshpati, as it is Vedically referred, Vastu Devata is Sthala. So land and water and land. Even in pollution, we say air pollution, water pollution, and land pollution. I mean, these are two very primal ingredients of life, water and land. And because we are doing a Shubha Samarambha, let's say a Vivaha has to happen, a Kalyanam has to happen. So before that, in order to invoke grace and do Shuddhi of the place. So it is for grace, for Siddhi and Shuddhi. शुद्ध्यर्थे वृद्ध्यर्थे अभ्युदयार्थे च स्वस्ति पुण्याः वाचनम करिष्ये is how the mantras go. Swasti means grace. So for grace, for all well-being, all types of well-being, and for shuddhi, to clean the place. We would have physically swept it and mopped it and nicely mm, scented it with scented Dettol, Dettol and all that. But for the spiritual cleansing, see, even in the Christian traditions, to expiate the demons, right? They use this holy water, what they believe to be the blood of their God, that is Jesus. So, or the water which was touched by Jesus. It is called the holy water. It's actually inspired by this punyaha concept, where the gods have been invoked into the water itself. And so they are residing in the water and are imbuing it with enough strength so as to cleanse the aura, cleansing the aura of the place. So this is the belief. And in many cases, not just is it a belief, but many people have experienced some positive effects to be in a particular house or in a particular place, uh, which will make way. It will carve the path out for something greater, a bigger function to occur. This is the idea. I myself, to share an anecdote, we recently relocated and we had called. It was a very small event, and before going into a house, we wanted to do a punya, and the purohita agatya swasti punya vachanam akarot. तदानीं यद्यपि मम मनसि अनेके क्लेशाः आसन्, अनेकानि चिन्तनान्यपि आसन्, अनेकाश्चिन्ताः अपि आसन्, ताः सर्वापि घण्टाद्वये घण्टात्रये एव बहुशः बहुशः सहस्रशः चिन्ताः शततः दशचिन्ताः एव अभूवन्. एतत् मम अपि अनुभवः अस्ति, प्रायोनुभवः अस्ति. So the cleansing of thought, cleansing of the mind is also symbolically indicated by the punyaha. Now, why am I talking about this when we are talking about Shivananda Lahari? Because this very shloka talks about how the actual punyaha, the internal punyaha which is being done, is happening within oneself. Where the bigger event which is yet to come is called the Kalyanam, the wedding. The wedding is yet to happen. And again, this is a shlesha, it's a pun, because Kalyana in Samskritam also means moksha. So the moksha is yet to happen, the sayojya is yet to happen. Apadayan, to make path for moksha, ruchiram punyaham prakati karomi aham. I will make a ritual, I will perform a ritual, prakati karomi, I shall unfold this function, this grand event which is yet to occur through a punyaham. And what punyaham? We will look at all the different ingredients here. So bhaktaha bhakti gunavrite mudamrita purne prasanne manah kumbhe sambatavangri pallava yugam samsthapya samvitphalam सत्वं मन्त्रमुदीरयन् निजशरीरागारशुद्धिं वहन् पुण्याहं प्रकटीकरोमि रुचिरं कल्याणमापादयन्. अत्र भक्तः भक्तिगुणावृते, अत्र भक्तः एव अर्चकः, भक्तः एव अर्चकः. He is the pujari, the purohita. Bhakti gunavrite. So he takes a pot, a kalasha, which is wound by threads of bhakti. Guna here refers to threads. And the double meaning here is guna is also as in a quality. Bhakti guna means bhakti rasa. With a lot of bhakti in himself or herself, bhakti guna vrite, mudam, lovingly, it should not be a forced bhakti. It should not be that I was told by my parents, do this ritual, otherwise you will go to hell. If you are not a believer, you will end up in eternal hell. You will burn with the other infidels. It is not so. It is a loving, caring, soft nudge towards God. So, mudam, amrita purne. And what is the water here? It is Amrita itself, which is the nectar, the celestial nectar which falls from the Sahasrara Chakra, which fills up the vessel, which is the Sharira and Manas. Manah Kumbhe, the mind itself becomes the pitcher, the pot, the kalasha into which Ananda is flowing in Amrita Purne, and that is becoming the kalasha. Samba, hey Samba, Amba Sahitaha, O one with your spouse, with my mother, which means basically Samba refers to Shiva, who is along with Amba, which is Uma, that is mm, Shiva along with the spouse. Just as Varuna and Vastu are going to come together, Shiva and Parvati are now being invited. Tava Angri Pallava Yugam Samsthapya Samvit Phalam. Now, what is the phala, the Narikela phala? Atra Samvit eva phalam. Samvit means consciousness, awareness. Awareness. I'll place awareness itself as the phala. Where samsthapayami. Kutra Angri Pallava yuge sthapayami. So the two leaves are the Pallava. Pallava means sprout of leaves. Angri Pallava, because both of your leaves, that Shiva and Parvati's leaves are very slender. They look mm, like mango leaves, within which I will place my awareness. Means what? I am going to bring my mind to focus only on the two of your pairs of feet. Samvit phalam. Again, it refers to the lotus feet. Feet always is a metaphor for the Sahasrara Chakra. So I'm going to place my awareness at a very high point. Sattvam mantram udirayan. And what is the mantra that the Purohita will chant, the Bhakta will chant here? Again, it's a double entendre. It talks about Sattvam, that is Saha eva Tvam. I am he, I am you, I am you. You are that, or that you are that. So, Sahatvam, you are that means what? You as in Paramatma are myself. Brahma Aikya Atma. So there is a unity between Brahma and Atma. So that is the mantra, the supreme mantra, the Mahavakya, which will keep going on jingling in my head. This mantra will keep, gunjtide athara, which will keep resounding in my head. Udirayan. The other meaning is Sattvam mantram. Some Sattvika mantra I will chant. Just as the Purohita also will chant the Sattvika mantras in order to purify and imbue it with Sattva Rajas, Sattva Guna, I'll be chanting that. Udirayan Nija Sharira Agara Shuddhim Vahan. So, what is the purpose for the Punyaha? I said Griha Shuddhyarthe, to clean the house. Agara Arthat Grihameva. Griha Shuddhim Vahan. I will carry out the Shuddhi of the Griha. And which is the Griha? Nija Shariram Eva Mama Griham. This Manas is the Kalasha, and the house in which this is happening is the Sharira. This is the Sharira. Asmin Sharire, Mama Sharire Eva Shuddhim Karomi. Mama Manasaha Ananda Jalam Nisravati. Tena Ananda Jalena, Tena Amrita Jalena, Aham Mama Sarvamapi Angam Sinchami. I will do prokshane to all, sechane to all the angas within myself. And this way, I will prepare my body and mind for what? Kalyanam Apadayan. I will make it, I'll prepare it, get it ready with all belt strapped and bootstrapped for the Kalyana to happen, the Madhve, the Vivaha to happen, which is basically the Sayujya, the union between the Atma and the Paramatma. This is a very beautiful shloka which shows how Upama can be used, how simple simile, an analogy between a Punyaha and the Manas itself is happening. And so much meaning is embedded into this. अत्र योगशास्त्रेषु यदा कुण्डलिनी शक्तिः सहस्रारचक्रं प्रति उड्डयति तदानीं सहस्रारचक्रं which is basically Shiva's pada तदा अमृतवर्षं भवति इति सौन्दर्यलहर्यामपि चर्चितम् आसीत्. When the rising energy of Kundalini, it meets its summit in the Sahasrara, it transforms the energy, the cosmic energy, and rains down into the lower six chakras 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The lower six, that is Ajna onwards, will get re-energized, reinvigorated. Punarjeevanam bhavati tena varshena, amrita varshena. And in the in the Yoga Shastras, it is called Ritambhara Prajna. Ritambhara. And Patanjali also uses the term Dharma. Dharma Varsha. So there is a rain of Dharma, of righteousness, of cosmic order back into the system. So it's like rewriting the program. So there is an infected, virus infected computer. So what will happen first? We will clean the computer, is it not? We will clean the computer. We'll clean the E drive, then the C drive, D drive, and then we will clear the memory. We'll take a backup and then clean all the memory. We'll delete all unwanted applications. And then we will insert the antivirus software, which will completely scan through the entire system and eliminate all the unwanted malware and any pernicious code. Thus, it is cleansing the system of all impurities, so to speak. And then it will restore all the operating system wala details back into the respective drives and software parts, hardware and software parts. So this is how even Yoga Shastras work. And this Amrita, which will come back from the Sahasrara Chakra, causes Sharira Agara Shuddhi. That is why it is told the temple of a Brahmajnani or a Yogini, the body of a Yogini or a Brahmajnani is said to be the house of God itself, because even their body is very Shuddha. Not that they will not excrete or they will not defecate, etc. That will of course happen. But from an astral plane, from a spiritual plane, their body will always be renewed with spiritual energy. In many cases, it may transform also into yoga siddhis. For example, there are some examples of Himalayan yogis who, despite having many injuries, they have some regenerative properties in the cells. It will affect this realization, Brahma Jnana, which is bhakti in other terms, will impact each and every cell of the body, it is told. So it's a complete cleanse, a complete purging of all bad material out and imbuing it with the cosmic order. So so their cells, though of course it is, I would love to see a scientific study happen over all of this. It is told that their cells are also bubbling with Ananda because they are wet by the Ananda which has flown down from their highest beloved, that is Shiva itself. And therefore, at some times, it imbues them with different qualities like self-regeneration, or it can heal the body on its own, or it can have the potential power to heal others also. And then, even if a person's leg has been fractured, in fact, there are many tumors which develop within the own system. I mean, not I'm not talking of a liberated person, but even of a layman, there are certain cells in the body which are cancerous by nature, and given the right ambience, they will actually show their true colors out. And it can be used for both good and bad. So in most cases, cancer is the bad expression of uncontrolled growth. But just there have been cases where, so in the female, there is a certain condition where the egg which is present in the womb, when it doesn't get fertilized, in some very rare cases, the egg, without the need for a sperm, itself will start developing into a fetus. Of course, it will not become a complete fetus, but just imagine a single unicellular organism, which is a cell, uh, just one cell being, that egg itself can multiply and multiply and multiply and create almost the entire body of a human being. So, if so much power is there, so much knowledge and intelligence is there within the smallest of cells, given the right conditions, it can also be used to cure, to self heal, to cure all the autoimmune diseases, to cure any other such ailments too. And of course, the mind will anyway always be happy. So there will be no stress. So there is nothing which is stopping or prohibiting or meddling with the system to take its own course. So this is a very beautiful symbol, allegory, I should say, allegory between the Punyaha and the Bhakta. Any comments? Again, to just quickly say, this is also one of my most quotes, quotable shlokas from the entirety of Shivananda Lahari. Satyam, Satyam. Very plausible. Yes. Or it could be the other way also. If of people who have continuously been breeding and brooding over negative thoughts may also create the necessary ambience for a normal cell in the body itself to turn into a cancerous one. Also, I mean, I am not really a scientist. I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know the exact facts about it. But yeah, very plausible seems like. Satyam, 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 Satyam. Yes, becomes a yes, correct. Hmm. Uh, Satyam, yes. And to treat the psychological cancer, like he says in this shloka, there should be three main ingredients, which is mudam, love, prasannata, there is serenity, and samvit, awareness. So these three qualities one must really have in order to fight against such cancerous thoughts. And of course, maybe self affirmations. See, in today's world and times, we hear a lot of self affirmations. I am good. I am lovable, and so on and so forth. So I've seen many of these self affirmations, and the Mahavakyas are also in a way self affirmations where I'm saying, I, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am the vast, I am supreme, I am uh, blemishless, I am tainted, I am taintless. I am not the body, I'm not the mind, so therefore its troubles are not mine. So such self reaffirmations may also definitely counteract such negative thoughts. This is what I feel. Yes, Satyam, Satyam. Self-esteem, yes. Confidence. Yeah, the depression, I think when you rightly said, depression is called, it causes a downward spiral. Uh, Mainly because the person loses self-confidence. He or she loses the ability and continues not in an instant, but gradually pain after pain after pain and insult after insult and kick after kick from society or from oneself will create self-loathing, which will, you know, it is like there is self-esteem is like a door against evil thoughts. But when the door has been broken open, then there's a free permit for all the evil thoughts to take control over us. Hmm. 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 Um. Hmm. Uh, uh, hmm. Correct, correct. Hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay.
ಈಗ ಇದು ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅದು ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದು ಟಿವಿ ಫಿಲಿಪ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿದು ಅದು ಟಿವಿ ನಮ್ದು ಟಿವಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಸೊ ನಮ್ದು ಇವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿ
Yeah, it's called placebo. Yes, yes. Um, it speaks to how really the mind also can influence very deeply the body. It's not just our body is not just a collection of chemicals and a factory of chemicals, but yeah, there are other things, many mysterious things also have all these mysterious mechanisms which underpin the workings of the body too. Correct. आम् यत् भावं तत् भवति अस्तु. Let's move ahead. Okay, yeah, before that, Tatparyam. The lover, overcome by his devotion, take his or her. I've just you literally translated bhakta in Pullinga. Makes his extremely joyous, nectarine, serene mind the vessel. Puts your feet as the mango leaves, and consciousness as the coconut fruit. He chants, "I am you, Soham, Soham, Soham," as the mantra, and cleans, you can say Shivoham also, cleans his inner and outer temple, the body. He verily has performed the Punya ritual thus as a preliminary step for the blessedness. That is, Kalyana can mean also blessedness, which is to come. आम्नायां बुद्धिमादरेण सुमनः सङ्घाः समुद्यन्मनो मन्थानं दृढभक्तिरज्जुसहितं कृत्वा मथित्वा ततः सोमं कल्पतरुं सुपर्वसुरभिं चिन्तामणिं धीमताम् नित्यानन्दसुधां निरन्तररमा सौभाग्यमातन्वते आम्नाय अम्बुधिम् आदरेण सुमनः सङ्घाः समुद्यत मनोमन्थानं दृढभक्ति रज्जु सहितं कृत्वा मथित्वा ततः. So, what he's talking about is the incident of Samudra Manthana. That is what is being talked about. Samudra Manthanam kim asit Satyayuge Devaha Asuraha cha Amritam Aichan. किंतु केवलम अमृताः अमृतम यावद आसीत् यत् केवलम देवाः एव पिबेयुः आहो असुराः तावदेव amritam asit. Only so much amrita was there which could have been which could have fed either to the gods or to the asuras. Tarhi kaha amritam pibet iti prashnam sarvepi akurvan. तर्हि वयं स्पर्धां कृत्वा निर्धराम यत् कस्मै अमृतं दीयेत इति. अस्तु इति कृत्वा सर्वेपि समुद्रं क्षीरसमुद्रं मन्दारपर्वतम् एव मन्थं कृत्वा, मन्था इज द चर्निंग स्टिक, मन्दारपर्वतमेव मन्थं कृत्वा वासुकिम् एव रज्जुं कृत्वा एतत् Samudram amathanan. Etat samudram amathanan. Atra devaha, atra asuraha cha samudram amathanan. Tasmat vishamapi udait, Lakshmi api udait, Chintamani adi अनेके रत्नान्यपि उदयन तस्मात् अमृतम अपि उदयित किंतु अत्र अस्मिन् श्लोके किं वर्णितं नाम भक्तस्य मनः एव समुद्रम् इति चिन्तयामः चेत् तत्र कथम् एषा घटना उपमीयते इति अत्र दृश्यते आम्नाय अम्बुधिम् आदरेण आदरेण मीन्स with a lot of effort and respect आदरेण आम्नाय अम्बुधिम् अम्बुधिम् नाम समुद्रम् आम्नाय समुद्रम् the samudra which is ether the water but of ether itself, that is of space itself, the deva sumanas sanghaha. Again, this is also a punned shloka. It has two meanings. If you read it in one way, you can read it as an external description of the Samudra Manthana. If you just replace or look at the words differently, from a different perspective, it will read as a shloka talking about the inner state of the bhakta. So, Amnaya Ambudhim, first it will be the external state. Amnaya Ambudhim, that is the Samudra, Adarena with a lot of effort. Sumanaha, that is Devaha. Deva Sanghaha, the entire troop of the Devas. Samudyate, they were trying very effortfully. Manomanthanam, the churning rod became the manas itself. Dridha Bhakti Rajju Sahitam. And what was the Rajju that they used? They used Bhakti itself, dedication itself, love itself as the rope for churning. Mathitva, and they started churning. What came out of that? Somam. First, Chandra also actually said to be Ambudhisha. He's also born from the ocean, is what the poetic way of looking at the moon rising from the sun. Sorry, the moon rising from the ocean is. When it rises from the horizon, it looks as though the moon has come out, has been birthed by the ocean, right? Which is why the tides happen, the high tide and the low tide. And also, the mind is very closely associated with the moon and with water and with the ocean. These are very interrelated. Therefore, they say the moon is the son or daughter of the ocean. So the moon came up. Soma means moon came up. So we say Somavara. Kalpatarum, and of course the wish fulfilling tree also came out. Suparva, a festive mood, which is Chintamani, also came out. Then Surabhi, which is the Nandini, that is Kamadhenu, also came out. Chintamani came out. Dhimata, Nitya Ananda Sudha. And then finally, even Amrita, the picture of Amrita came out. Sudha. Nirantara Rama Saubhagyam Atanvate. And that led to the Saubhagya, the great fortune of the gods. This is the superficial meaning. It can also, Saubhagya is also the name for Lakshmi. So it can also say, finally, Lakshmi also came to be on the side of the Devas. Now, what is the inner meaning to it? Amnaya Ambudhim. So, Amnaya, which is Dishaha, space, represents the space of the mind, of the awareness. So, in our own mind, if we just close our minds without thoughts, as in a coma or a deep sleep, or when we are hit in the head very badly, there is a lucid dream state where there is actually no dreams. There's only awareness. So there is an emptiness. So in this emptiness, which is called Amnaya, this entire emptiness of the inner self, Antahkarana, itself became the ocean which was churned by the Sumanaha, by people, that is by good thoughts, Sumanaha, the manas on one side, became the gods. The manas on the other side itself became the other set of gods. Here there are no asuras. There was a churning between both parts of the mind. Here they have not judged the asuras to be bad. They have not judged any thought to be evil. It is all sumanas only, because it is just misplaced interests or ignorance. One of the part of the mind says, the body is true, and therefore let me feed the body. The other part says, no, no, it is not that only I should be fed. Everybody is also like me. Everybody else is also like me. Every other creature is like me. So I am the greater body. I am a cosmic body. So let me feed every part of this cosmic body, not only just limited body. So it is the same thing. Just the assumptions are different. So there are two set of minds, the limitation and the unlimitation, so to speak, were churned, using what? The manas itself. And Dridha Bhakti Rajju, the Rajju here became love. It became dedication, an unflinching, unwavering commitment to this process. That is Bhakti. Rajju became the Rajju, the rope. Manthanam, what was the stick used to churn? Which was the manas itself. The manas again became Samudyan Mano. The manas itself was churned. That is all the past traumas, all the embedded subconscious memories, all the wrongs that we were done, and all the things that we wronged to others, all the things that we hurt to others, all the things which were hurt by others to us, all of that are stored here, like she was telling, as karma bija, as karma vipaka is to come to fruition, to come to maturity, but it lies in our subconscious as bija. It is visualized as being some bijas, seeds which are yet to sprout and germinate out. So they were churned out, they were crushed. Finally, what came? Of course, the first thing which comes out is halahala, which is visha. That is why when we sit to meditation, we always feel, why am I even doing this? Why am I even raking up all the past? In fact, we will feel more lost than we began with. But we must not lose hope. We must not lose our grit. It says you should go through this dark night of the soul. That is when, after the halahala has been drunk up by Shiva, then will come all the beauties and the goodies. What are they? First, soma. Like I said, good mindness, calm mindness will come out. Soma. Kalpataru, that is, our mind itself will turn as a taru, as a tree which gives and gives and gives to others. Kalpataru. And kalpa, just through imagination, just through thought itself, we will start wishing good for others. Kalpataru. That is the deeper inner meaning of this. And Suparva Surabhi. Parva is Habba. Parva. See the word Parva gradually mutates to become Habba. Pa becomes Ha, right? That we know. Pu, Pu, and so on. And then Rva becomes Avva by Pali and Prakrita. And then Parva becomes Pavva, then becomes Pabba, and then it becomes Habba. So we can immediately understand that Suparva means Vallaya Habba, some good festivity. That is, our entire system will be always in celebration. It's always in a carnival mode. It's there is no need for another reason to be happy, to smile, to laugh, to make merry. We are always in Ananda. Surabhi, and like a wish fulfilling cow, we will start being of value to others. We will provide value to others. And Chintamani, and our chintas, our thoughts, will become money, very rare like gems, which means what? One or two here and there thoughts will come. Maybe good or bad, it doesn't matter. But now at this current juncture, we are all in the swirl of thoughts, in the whirlpool of thoughts, right? So that will go, it becomes so rare, like finding another jewel on the road. Very rare. So once or twice, one this way or that way, once in a blue moon, we will get a thought. It's fine. It will go off. Dhimatam. And this is the state of the dhimats, the wise people, those who have jnana. And then finally, when they are in this state, what happens is gradually they will go into the last stage of Nitya Ananda Sudha. They will be in permanent, unceasing bliss. Nirantara Rama. Nirantaram, that is without interruption, uninterruptedly. Interruptedly. Rama is to, again, Rama in externally means Lakshmi, but here it means Rama is to revel, revelry. There is constant intoxication within, and that is the greatest saubhagya, the greatest fortune, atanvate, which can happen to us. आम्नायां बुद्धिमादरेण सुमनः सङ्घाः समुद्यन्मनो मन्थानं दृढभक्तिरज्जुसहितं कृत्वा मथित्वा ततः सोमं कल्पतरुं सुपर्वसुरभिं चिन्तामणिं धीमताम् नित्यानन्दसुधां निरन्तररमा सौभाग्यमातन्वते किमपि विवक्षति किम् भवत्यौ अभिप्रायान् सूचयतु हम्म सत्यम् आम् 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 the mind body and spirit, yes. Mind body and spirit, yes. Affecting one would also affect invariably the other. They should all be in synchrony, yes. Amare. Hmm. Nehave Vegula. Correct, correct. Hmm. Hmm. Correct, correct. Sabi. अस्तु धन्यवादः Um, um, very true. Yeah. अस्तु धन्यवादः. There is another Samudra Manthana, oh my lord, churning the ocean of knowledge with floods of good thoughts, keeping the protruding mind itself as the churn stick, and making firm love the ropes. They churn, and then what comes out? Oh, indeed, the intoxicant juice exudes. The imagination tree blooms. The sweet scent of festivity envelops. Thoughts become rare and precious like jewels. The ocean swells in permanent ecstasy, and the blessed fortune of having to enjoy your joy ceaselessly comes to those wise ones. I really like this expression of Chintamani, that is, thoughts becoming very rare. I want to re-emphasize it because when even the jnanis are said to have thoughts, but there every thought of theirs, or at least most thought of theirs, are either random or secondly they have the power to invent thought just to engage in the particular activity right there. So it's like a button. They let's say that the situation outside demands that they engage in a certain activity, and for engaging in an activity, we require the functioning mind. So they'll put it on and they let thoughts come, then they'll do it. And so the expression chinta money being thoughts which are rare, and when they come, they are also useful. It's not that some random thoughts which will always bug us are coming in their minds. And it is not just in Jnani's minds, even we have the potential to attain such a state because this is talking about all minds in general. The only condition is we should be dhimatas. We should have the dhairya, we should have the courage to be wise because it takes a lot of courage, to be wise because wisdom will not just come as it is. We have to earn wisdom through life experiences. And if we have to earn this wisdom through life experiences, we must face life very bravely. So that's why Swami Vivekananda always talked about bravery and courage. So dhira, to be dhira, first you should have dhairya, is what he used to always tell. With dhairya only, then can one become a wise person, dhira. And only for the wise, that is a person who is with knowledge, mind you, not just intelligence and information, but with knowledge and wisdom alone is eligible for doing this samudra manthana of the mind. Let's move ahead. One other very popular verse. We have talked at length about the personal experiences of both Aryas here in the classroom about their visits to the Kailasa Parvata and the Manasa Sarovara lake. This is again another shloka talking of it's painting an entire imagery of the time that he also went to Manasa Sarovara and looked at the Kailasa Parvata from the Manasa Sarovara. And what happened? This is the description. Let's see. प्राक् पुण्याचलमार्गदर्शितसुधा मूर्तिः प्रसन्नः शिवः सोमः सद्गुणसेवितो मृगधरः पूर्णस्तमोमोचकः चेतः पुष्करलक्षितो भवति चेत् आनन्दपाथो निधिः प्रागल्भ्येन विजृम्भते सुमनसाम् वृत्तिस्तदा जायते. अत्र उच्यते प्राक् in before when I went to Punyachala Margadarshana for visiting the Himachala or Kailas actually, Punyachala, Marga, Marge, Sudha Murti Darshitaha. To have the darshana of Sudha Murti, that is the embodiment of Amrita itself, which is who? Which is Shiva. Prasannaha Shivaha. Okay. Then I saw Somaha, the moon. I saw the moon. Instead of seeing Shiva, I saw the moon. Sadguna Sevitaha Mrigadharaha. I saw the moon, which has an animal on its skin. If you look carefully, there is a rabbit-like feature of the on the craters of the moon. So the moon also is referred to as the Mrigadhara because it holds a rabbit on it. Purnaha, it was a full moon day. Tamo Mochakaha, and because it was full moon day, it was dispelling away the darkness. It was all brightened up with cool light. Chetaf Pushkara Lakshitaha Bhavati Chet Ananda Patho Nidhihi प्रागल्भ्येन विजृंभते सुमनसा मृत्युस्तदा जायते. And I saw the moon, the full moon rising from between the mountains, O Shiva. I didn't see you, I didn't get to see you, but I saw the mountains, the moon rising from the mountains, and I saw the reflection also in the Pushkara, in the lake, which is called the Chetak Pushkara, also called Manasa Sarovara, right? Chetas is Manas, Sarovara is Pushkara. So in the Manasa Sarovara lake, I saw the moon's reflection, Lakshitaha, Ananda Patho Nidhi, and this Manasa Sarovara lake started uh, offering a very picturesque image where I got engrossed. Patho Nidhi is the Nidhi, the collection of water is called a lake. So Patho Nidhi, Pragalbhena Vijrambhate. And what happens when the moon is close? If you remember, it tides happen, is it not? And on full moons and new moons, particularly, even the water bodies, not just oceans, even water bodies have a greater ripple effect. So the shloka is say, I saw lot many waves crawl up on the surface of the Sumanasam on the Manasa Sarovara lake. Vrittihi, the waves, tada jayate. This is the superficial meaning. So you would think, okay, maybe it's because Shankaracharya is like a kavi, he's just describing uh, a scenic, a scene, natural beauty, a scene of natural beauty, but it is not so. Because if you look at it carefully, all these words are punned, they have double meanings in it. Prak Punyachala Marga Darshita Sudha Murtihi. So it's talking of how when Shankaracharya in his own vision, in his mind, he saw Shiva itself. He actually saw Prasannaha Shivaha. He saw Shiva very benevolent, very calm and engaged in his meditation. Who is the Sudha Murtihi, who is the embodiment of Amrita. Again, the Sudha Murti can refer both to the moon, the physical moon, as well as to Shiva. Margadarshita and Punyachala Margadarshita. When I walk the path of Punya, of Achala Punya, of unquestionable, unquestioning righteousness, I kept doing the good things in life. I kept doing the right things in life, which led to Punya. And on that Marga, I got to see Sudha Murti. I got to enjoy the Ananda, the rasa of joy. Because when we are happy, when we are pleasant, we always do the right things. And conversely, when we are doing the right things, we are also happy. At least the mind is satisfied from within. The Atma is satisfied. It has tripti, it has contentment. See, even externally, if I'm suffering, if I know that all that I could have done, I have done, there is a certain level of detachment and acceptance, no doubt, but also there is a certain relief from within because I know that I am clean in my conscience. So that way, Adi Shankaracharya says this bhakta, he or she started walking the path of Punyachala, Achala Punya, and to do darshana of the Sudha Murti, to have the joy, to have a taste of that Atma Santripti. And then I got to see Shiva himself, the Prasanna Shiva, who is Soma. Now you see, Soma is split as Sa Uma, one who is there along with Uma. Just as you say Samba, just as you say Sa Parivara, Sa Kutumba, Sa here is used to refer to along, Saha. Along with Uma, you are sitting there. Sadgana Sevitaha. So you are actually being worshipped and offered obeisances by all your ganas. Sadgana Sevitaha. Mrigadharaha, because he holds the deer in his hand. Purnaha, he is complete. Shiva is complete in himself. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So says the Upanishad. That is complete. This is complete. We actually are living in a delusion that we are not complete, which is why we are seeking joy. But we are actually Purna, is the grand clarion call of the Upanishad. So Shiva himself is also Purna. Tamo mochakaha, he dispels ajnana, the tamas from us. And that reflection of Paramatma was seen in the Antaratma, which is Chetaf Pushkara. In my mind, the reflection of this supreme consciousness was there on my clean mind, which was like a mirror. So I saw the reflection just as a lake which is completely still, where there are no waves. You can actually see through the lake, and you can see a reflection of the sky also in the lake. Similarly, I was able to see Paramatma who is residing within me itself in my chetas, in my consciousness, in my awareness, and because of which Ananda Patho Nidhihi, Ananda started flowing down in cascades, and Pragalbhena, by deep, profound, the profundity of this realization, of this experience, Vijrambhate, I started celebrating, and Sumanasam, my mind became completely saturated with goodness, Vrittihi tada jayate, and waves and waves of joy started welling up in my own mind. How beautiful this is. Kiet Sundaram. He has played with the words so well and fit two very uh, distant events into the same shloka. He has fit both external and the internal event very gloriously into the same shloka. Arye Gayatu? Once upon a time, Shiva, the consort of Uma, the destroyer of darkness, the complete, the intoxicant, seen on his way to the holy mountains, the lake Manasasarovara also reflected his form in the lucid, serene waters. Had I seen that, there would have been a tidal uprising of immaculate bliss in the mind, causing waves and whirlpools of sweet thoughts. The pun is on Uma, Soma, which also can mean the moon, thus alluding to the full moon rise in the ocean or in Manasarovara, which causes the tidal swelling. Yes. Satyam. I think he because he's using uh, this shloka to pun on two different things. It means he already knew that there is a lake called Manasa Sarovara. It's actually a very old, very ancient lake. Yes. Um. Possibly, Arya. Yes. Hmm. But Manasa Sarovara has actually been described since the Puranic times also. I am not really sure off the top of my head which Purana it first appears in. But yeah, it's a very old lake. Very, I mean, geographically and geologically also, it's a very old lake. One of the biggest, I would say. It's of course not as big as other lakes like Caspian Lake and the others, but yeah, it's a very large lake. It's actually sometimes referred to as Samudra itself there by the people, the indigenous people there. They actually call it the Manas Sarovar or Samudra also sometimes. So vast. And it was formed, it is perennial because of the glaciers around. Um, 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 mm, um, um. He did a yatra, contemporary, as in what dates are you looking for, Arya? No, no. Hmm, okay. No, no, it's not. It's really interesting because I think you also visited the Manasarovar and you quite described this a similar event where you saw the Manasarovar and you saw the Kailasa through the mountains, is it? Mm, mm. Yeah. You stationed there in the morning or you left away in the afternoon? Ah, okay. Rakshastal. Rakshastal. Hmm. Ah, I see. Hmm. Oh, is it? Okay. I'm just looking up Manas Sarovara Lake. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Actually, true. The Indus River originates from the Manas Sarovara, correct? This is the lake. The Rakshastal. Correct. There is Rakshastal. Satyam. Purna Chandra. So I see. Hmm. Hmm. Rakshas. It is told that actually Ravana created this lake, I think. There is some mystery around this lake because there are fishes which live in the Manas Sarovar, but no organism lives in the Rakshastal. It's told to be salty also. I can see on the screen. Even Arya was telling, Shantaji was telling that it was salty. Hmm. It's a very rare incident because I mean, the distance between them may not even be a kilometer apart. Two lakes, twin lakes, both of them are glacier fed. How can they have such different composition? I mean, it just speaks to how how actual twins can also be born to humans. Two from very similar parents, but they emerge very differently. Like Asuras and the Devas, they both came from Kashyapa only, but they have different inclinations. Hmm. Okay, okay. Hmm. It's a mystery, yes. Even Indus River, you said, no? Indus River, Manas Sarovar. Manas Sarovar. Hmm. Oh, okay. Hmm. 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 Satyam. So it is actually in that the case that Indus River originates from the Manas Sarovar itself. Yes. Hmm. 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 अस्तु अस्तु सम्यक्. Oh, is it very nice? If you're comfortable, you can definitely share some pictures, key pictures from that yatra with all of us. Okay, okay. आम् आम् सर. अवश्यम्. अस्तु अग्रे गच्छामः. धर्मो मे चतुरङ्घ्रिकः सुचरितः पापं विनाशं गतम् कामक्रोधमदादयो विगलिताः कालाः सुखाविष्कृताः ज्ञानानन्दमहौषधिः सुफलिता कैवल्यनाथे सदा मान्ये मानसपुण्डरीकनगरे राजावतंसे स्थिते। अत्र किं वर्णितम्? धर्मः मे चतुरङ्घ्रिकः सुचरितः. What is the journey that I have undertaken is what he is describing. He says, Dharmaha me chaturanghrikah dharmaha me sucharitah. I have walked well, sucharitah, the path of dharma, and which is that chaturanghrikah dharmaha. So it is told there are four pillars to dharma, right? So satya, rita, dharma, karma, and I am not able to recollect the other. Maybe Usha Arya can fill in what the four pillars of dharma are. Ahi, yeah, ahimsa and something else. So anyway, Angrika means pillars. Chatur Angrika, the four pillared dharma I have followed, which means I have, though I am staying in Kali Yuga, it's told in Kali Yuga only one pada is left. But I have taken care and taken heed to follow all virtues of the world, sucharitaha, and because of which, what is the use of following dharma? Papam vinasham gatam. It's not that I got punya, but all my papa went away. Somebody asked Buddha, it seems, what is the use of all of so much tapasya? What did you gain from all of this? Then Buddha said, I didn't gain anything. So then he laughed. The traveler laughed. You see, it's such a waste that you actually didn't gain anything, and yet I am enjoying my life, having earned so much money, and I'm living in this palace and so on. Then Buddha smilingly said, "True is it's true that I didn't earn anything. I didn't gain anything from all this sadhana and tapasya, but he said I definitely have lost many things. So that way we will lose our papa through dharma, kama, krodha, madadayo, vigalita. And what did we lose? He lost kama, krodha, mada, and the others, such evil demons who taunt, trouble, and dissuade us away from happiness. Kama, krodha, madadayaha, vigalitaha. They were eschewed at, they were engulfed. I ate them all up. I ate up all these demons. Kalaha sukha vishkritaha. And all my remaining time I have spent in a very joyous, very easygoing manner. I have not stressed about life. Life has become very easy and free flowing, uninterrupted, unforced. There is no force, there is no direction, but still it is very organically, naturally flowing like a little stream. Jnanananda Mahaushadhi Suphalita. And finally, this life of mine is reaching the Ananda, the Jnana Ananda, the experiential happiness of wisdom. The ocean of this Aushadhi is uh, an herb. ಗಿಡಮೂಲಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. It's called Aushadhi. So Maha Aushadhi is a big medicinal tree. Jnanananda Mahaushadhi Suphalita. This trinklet of life has watered the tree, which has now fruited. It has come to fruition, and it's giving the consequence of my actions of this dharma and all that, which is jnana and ananda. And kaivalya nathe sada manye sada kaivalya nathe arthat shive, because he is called the Kaivalyanatha, the one who can give bestow Kaivalya, the Lord of Kaivalya, because he is himself alone, Kevala. He is the Ekameva Advitiyam. And Manye, which one who is most worthy of respect and veneration. Manasa Pundarika Nagare. Pundarika is lotus. Again, it's referring back to the Manasa Pundarika, which is the lotus of the mind, which is the Sahasrara. Raja Avatam, say it is a throne. You're sitting like a Raja on the throne, which is the throne of the Sahasrara Chakra. Sthite, you're sitting there, and I have come before you, my Lord. You, the Lord, the Emperor of my body as well as of the cosmos, the Anda and the Brahmanda, the Pinda and the Brahmanda, both. You are the Raja, O great Shiva, O great Almighty. I have come here before you, is the uh, report that he is telling to Shiva. Dharmo me chaturanghrika sucharita. I've come from a very long distance, having traversed dharma. I have lost many things on the way, which is basically, people when they used to travel alone on for very long, some robbers, some dacoits would steal something away from them. So I have been stolen of my papa. I have no more papas left. And what do I eat on the journey? I eat kama krodha itself, vigalitaha. I used to swallow and eat up my own kama and krodha. I used to have a lot of self control. And whenever I used to rest, being exhausted by the journey, it was all happiness, sukha vishkrita. And on the way, I saw and plucked fruits from many trees, which are basically jnana and ananda. And now, Kaivalyanath, I have come into the depth of the forest where you alone are sitting like a Raja in the Pundarika Nagara. So there is a forest in a city. It's very weird because in many cases it is not so. I mean, there are some patches of forest, seeming apparent forests, but downtown cities, there would be only parks, not forests. But there is a forest in this city called Manasa, on the mind city. And why is there a forest? Because forest represents what? Kaivalya. It represents aloneness, solitude, because nobody would venture into a forest alone. So at that position, you are sitting on a throne there and rejoicing. And thus I have come, finally, long last, I have come over here. Arya Gayatu? Sadhu. Any comments? Kimapi अभिप्रेतुम् इच्छति? Please chime in. सत्यम, दया, tapas, shaucham. Okay. So hygiene, that is pure physical and mental hygiene. Then there is compassion, there is truth, and there is tapas. Very nice. So I would say satya and daya are with respect to others. They are external. That is how we behave with others. We should be truthful, honest in our conduct, and daya. So we should be compassionate. Whereas within ourselves, in our own ambit, we must be tapas. We must exert ourselves uh, well. We should not take to laziness. We should be willing to, Abdul Kalam said, if I want to shine like the sun, I must first burn like the sun. So tapas is burning. It's exerting ourselves like the sun through hard work and determination and grit. Whereas shaucha is how we maintain our internal and external state. Yes, so we can actually, this quite well summarizes dharma. It's not about rituals, it's not about doing dana, dharma, and all that. So, dharma, the four pillars of dharma, which is universal humanity, not just humanity, you could say this is all creaturity because it is relating to all creatures also. Daya must be there for all creatures. One must internally be willing to do tapasya, which whatever religion or caste or creed, etc., one may hail from. Astu, agre gacchama. Once the esteemed Lord of Liberation has taken his seat forever on the royal throne in the city of the lotus mind, all the fourfold dharma that I have done has paved my path to that city. All my sins have been given away. All my desires, rage, and the like have been trampled upon. All my times have been spent in joy. All the medicinal knowledge of the bliss has taken effect. धीयन्त्रेण वचो घटेन कविता कुल्योपकुल्याक्रमैः आनीतैश्च सदाशिवस्य चरितां भोराशि दिव्यामृतैः हृत्केदारयुताश भक्तिकलमा साफल्यमातन्वते दुर्भिक्षान् मम सेवकस्य भगवन् विश्वेश भीतिः कुतः। धीयन्त्रेण वचो घटेन कविता कुल्योपकुल्याक्रमैः आनीतैः. So it's talking about a field which is called Kedara. See, actually, field can also mean a Kedara. That is why the name Kedara Natha, because he is the Lord of the fields. He is Lord of agriculture also. हरिकेशायोपवीतिने पुष्टानां पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेत्यै जगतां पतये नमो नमो रुद्राय तताविने क्षेत्राणां पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानां, and so on and so forth. So it says, the Vedas, through in the Rudra Anuvaka, it says, Rudra, that is Shiva, is the Lord of agricultural fields. He comes in the form of the crop itself. And he also comes in the form of torrential rains and thunder, which destroys the crop. So he is both the good and the evil. He is both the giver as well as the taker. So here he uses the imagery of a crop, of a cultivatable land. And he says, see, for getting crop, what do we need? We need some water. We need sunshine. Sunshine, though we can't control. And the climate also cannot be controlled, the weather. But what we can do is we can bring water and keep watering it. We can make furrows and till the land well. And then weed out all the weeds and keep it clean and just expect and hope and pray to the Lord that the weather is good, the sun shines appropriately. Sakala varsham bhavediti samprarthayamaha. Tatha, if that is the case and everything fits well, then there will be a massive yield, a great harvest, which of course during Sankranti or whatever, 2 times in a year, we will harvest it and sell and make some good money and so on. Now, there will be no durbhiksha in the land surrounding such an agricultural land because food is abundant, right? Therefore, when there is no durbhiksha, there will be no bhiti. Very interestingly, bhiti in farmers. What do farmers fear the most? They fear loss of crop, which is durbhiksha. We also actually do. We are also farmers in a way because we also fear the loss of our actions. We would have worked a lot, on our projects, on our career, on an exam, or maybe we have worked on a relationship and so on. So we expect the crop to also come out. We expect the phala. And so if it doesn't come out, it is as good as there having been a durbhiksha kala, having been a drought, a famine in the land. Then we would be fearful, we would be frightened, we would be terrorized. Therefore, he says, I have given up all fear thanks to you, O my Lord Bhagavan, because I am a sevaka, I am a laborer. I am this one or two people who go and work in the fields. They are not the owners of the land. They are just laborer there. I am a sevaka to your land. I am not the owner. So I will not be under any apprehension that this is my field and therefore I am attached to the result. Because I have dissociated myself from the ownership of my mind and body, I can now look at it from a third person perspective and see how you are actually the Lord. God is the one who has lent this body and mind to us. He or she has allowed the accumulation of thoughts and of food in the body. So whenever the time comes, it will, whatever must be done, the owner is completely responsible. I am not. So with this bhavana, I have started. And he says, Dhi yantrena. Now you would have seen some water pumps in the on the field. So there were other different traditional pumps back then too. Dhi yantra. Yantra, there is a yantra which is the dhi intellect itself, the rational thinking mind itself is the yantra which I shall use. And vacho ghatena. So I will use the intellect to pump out all the water from within. Yeah, the water also actually is with the land itself. Only thing is the plants cannot absorb it because it is very deep. There is underground water, and I should bring it up to the surface. And that is the use of the intellect, to use philosophy, to use the logical thinking mind to mine out the underground water, the deep seated water from the bedrock which is within us, to bring it to the surface, to make it more apparent. Dhiyantrena, and then vacho ghatena. I should use now some containers for the water. So the water has started fountaining up. It has started welling up. And then what do I do now? I have to take them in buckets and go and water the plants. So vacho ghatena, vachaha, vachasam ghatena, with words, with appropriate words and thoughts actually. Ghatena, I'll carry this water which is actually Ananda itself, Amritaihi. Amrita, which is there within us already, is just made more apparent. It's just made more visible, obvious to us. So that Ananda which has come from within through the Dhi, through the Buddhi, through conceptual understanding, now must be supplemented with words in a sense, with japa. So vachas, vak japaha, vak tapaha eva japam. So I use my words very clearly and I think of the deep-seated wisdom which is within me already as water filled up to the pots and used for watering the fields of my own body. Kavita kulya upakulya akramaihi. And so I have kulya is well, kupa. Upakulya is, you can either think of it as smaller wells or a smaller embankments. Or if you have seen on actual farmlands, there would be many furrows for the channels of water to flow between the crops. So that can also be kulya. So I have tilled my land and made it more supple. So what does poetry do to us? What does creative art do to us? What does performing art, not just entertainment of watching movies or uh, watching videos, scrolling through them on YouTube, but what is actual art which requires us to be fully attentive and use our mind to decode the art. See, in most cases, at least my own generation, the new generation, the Gen Z and the millennial and the uh, we are really impatient. We will never sit through a 3 hour drama. We will never have the patience to sit through a 4 hour, some yakshagana and so on. because all such traditional art actually requires complete commitment of awareness and attention from the crowd. That is where the actual magic happens. It is not being served on a plate. All the modern sources of entertainment, manoranjana as we call it, even earlier there used to be entertainment, but it was, there were all the different kinds of entertainment, but amongst them, the sattvika kind is where buddhi grahyam atindriyam is what Bhagavad Gita also says. So if the sukha, the joy, it is not wrong to enjoy, but if the joy has come from atma buddhi prasadajam, if it has come from reveling within oneself by working on oneself, and then it has led to the calming of the mind, that is called a sattvika sukha. Then Vishaya Indriya Sanyogat Yattad Agre Amritopamam Pariname Vishameva Tat Sukham Rajasam Smritam. And then through the direct contact of the equipments, which is the eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, and so on, with the actual bhoga vastu, like eating an ice cream, watching something where the actual contact is happening, or listening to some loud music, and so on and so forth. So all of these are called Rajasic entertainments. Whereas Tamasic are ones where it's not even just Vastu which are being enjoyed, it is at the cost of others, to show off, to destroy others. Such a sadistic joy, as we call it, would be called a Tamasic joy. Anyhow, coming back to this, I brought this point out to show how the Kavita or any Kavya or any entertainment of those days, there were also some modes which were primarily Sattvika based, because we will have to work on it. Kalidasa's Kritis are also no easy read. They're not a novel where we can sit and finish within 2 or 3 days. It is not so. One has to invest heavily using the mind and the body and emotions, actually visualize those things. It's like a game. All the puzzle pieces are given. It is up to us to arrange them properly and figure it out, make appropriate connections, and so on. That is how it was originally meant to be. So Kavita also, that is Kavita here refers to the Kavita of Shiva's Itihasas, all the legends spoken of Shiva, all the Kavita which is there, just as we have been doing so far. Lot of decoding needs to be done. And through that, I am suppling up my mind. I am making my mind more sensitive. You see, to enjoy loud music, to enjoy a naked dance, something, it doesn't really require much fine tuning of the mind. Any animal or any layman can also will be able to enjoy it. But such sukha which requires fine tuning of the mind, actually in the long term, like Ayurveda, turns the mind more active. It makes it more supple, more plastic. So through such kavita, he is telling, I have tilled my own mind. I have made it more fertile, more sensitive. Sensitive, we actually criticize people for being very sensitive. It's actually not so. In fact, even J. Krishnamurti, he says, why are periods of solitude important? Because that is the only place where the mind can unabashedly be very sensitive. Because when we are in the world, with the society, people criticize us for being very sensitive, for showing our emotions. Therefore, we shut them out, or we build huge walls around us and become very guardful. But actual knowledge will come only to those minds which are very sensitive to it. See, Buddha just looked at some dead body, some deceased man, and a poor man. We see such scenes every single day on my way to office, etc. I keep seeing all of this. Yet my mind is not as sensitive as his to have really understood the profundity of it. To have the see, sensitivity also leads to courage. Because when I'm deeply hurt, I will immediately take some action about it. Only those people who have MA charma ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ತರ, I mean, to some degree, we need to steel our nerves against criticism, etc. I agree. But how much can we keep ourselves guarded against the sufferings and the actual truth of the world, right? So, such sensitivity is most important in the spiritual quest. And only when we are truly sensitive are we really aware of ourselves. If you have seen those people who are very soft and sensitive, right? They're actually also the most self-aware person in the room. They may be shy, but they're also very self-aware. But a person who's very boisterous, very outgoing and gregarious, right? Many times he is not even self-aware. He's not even know, he doesn't even know what he's telling. He doesn't even know that he may have hurt others. So that is the cost of sensitivity, and also the boon and the bane of it. That sensitivity comes from a feminine art, which is kavita. And through that, the mind has become very sukshma and anitaihi akramaihi. I have kept pouncing my mind and washing it with buckets and buckets of this sensitivity because my mind is very harsh, like the land, very dry and very rigid. I should make it more supple and fertile. So I kept doing that. Sadashivasya Charita Ambhorashi Divya Amritaihi. And by what? By not just listening to Kanidasa, by listening to Sadashiva's, the Supreme Almighty's Charita, the Kathamrita, the glories of Sadashiva, Ambhorashi, that is Rashi, abundance of Ambhas, which is water, Jalarashya, Divya Amritaihi. It was like divine water. Hrit Kedara. Kedara is the field. This Hrit Kedara, the mind field. Yutaha cha bhakti kalamaha. All good flowers, kalama, good lotuses, and so kalama is a pun on the word kamala. You see, kalama, kamala. Such good lotuses and fragrant flowers have started growing in my land. Saphalyam atanvate. And finally, I can expect saphalya. I can expect a very good result, a good fulfillment. I can expect a good harvest soon to come. And therefore, durbhikshat mama sevakasya bhagavan, he bhagavan, mama sevakasya, for me, of me, a sevaka, merely a sevaka of your land, durbhikshat, because of durbhiksha, of famine, I really have no concern or fear or apprehensions about it. Vishwesha, hey Vishwesha, Lord of all creatures. Kutaha bhitihi. From where will I have any fear? You are going to take care of everything and I have done all my effort as a sevaka. You will anyway give me the needed fulfillment and harvest of crop. So many layers of meaning are embedded into this shloka too. Would you like to say, give any comments, remarks? Are you all able to understand and appreciate the beauty of these verses? Or is it some mental gymnastics? You feel like it is some mental gymnastics, intellectual stimulation being done? Hmm. Hmm. Ah, astu. Hmm. Satyam. Um, and that is the beauty also in a way because it is open to interpretation. You can interpret it as we mature, as we have different experiences. We may look at the same very verse from different ways. O Lord of the universe, why should I fear? I have watered my heart fields, whose furrows are overflowing with love. I have brought buckets of divine nectarine waters of your legends. I have brought them in pots of words carried by the intellect machine. with the help of crushingly sublime water, waves and wavelets of poetry. Now I have a fully quenched field, a fully sated field. I therefore fear no famine or drought. Asti. Once the esteemed Lord of Liberation has taken his seat forever on the royal throne, in the city of the lotus mind, all the fourfolded dharma that I did has paved my path to this city, the city of the lotus mind, which is called Manasa Pundarika. All my sins have been given away, all my desires, rage, and the like have been trampled upon. All my times have now been spent in joy, in peace. All medicinal knowledge of the bliss, that is the supreme bliss, Ananda, have taken effect. Astu, I think we should stop here. We will take up verse 41 in the next class. एकचत्वारिंश श्लोकात् आरम्भं कुर्मः. अस्तु, अनेके अनेके धन्यवादाः. As usual, really interactive. धन्यवादः. उत्तमा चर्चा, उत्तमः विमर्शः च कृतः. धन्यवादः. धन्यवादः.